Squats are useless, meaningless, if you don't use what I'm going to show you in this training today. So welcome to training, and if you're watching this video, then more than likely you want to build up to high levels of strength and skill and mobility and sustainability and all the rest. And so that's what we're going to dive into. And the first thing that we're going to look at is actually fixing the squat position, and then a whole bunch of other moves, detail by detail, and it's all going to connect together by the end. Okay, so first thing that we want to look at. By the way, I'm Lee Weiland, and I'm with Pacific Rim Athletics, co-founder, created Powerbatics. But first thing is about shoulder width or so. Okay, so you notice I walk my feet out, 1, 2, and then just a little bit here. So about shoulder width or so. Okay, and then pushing the knees outwards and coming all the way down, and then heels on the ground. All right, and normally whenever I'm warming up, I like to go into this position and I push the knees out with my elbows like this. Okay, I'll show you from the side view. And sometimes it's difficult for people to have the ankle mobility, the Achilles flexibility, the knee mobility or hip mobility to go into that position. Sometimes the back also feels pain and whatnot. But again, 1, 2, and a little out, and then straight down like this. And keep in mind, as we go through some of these techniques today, you're not going to be able to do all of them. You'll be able to do some, okay, but maybe not all of them. And that's where I highly recommend training and getting good instruction, and don't mistake videos for instruction. But this is the first position, okay? We want to be able to be down here almost like a stretch. I remember years ago whenever I was doing weightlifting, I got to the point where I was actually doing, I won't go into numbers, but a significant amount of weight and then coming down slowly and then resting at the bottom, almost like a stretch, and then pushing back up. And so it's really advantageous for the body to be able to squat, to be able to rest in that position. But then, like I said, we're going to go into a number of other moves, okay? And I want to make sure that you guys are actually excelling and gaining strength, skill, and sustainability, okay? And I do want to make this point too, that as we get into the second move, which is I think even more important than just a regular squat, but I want you guys to think about this very specific point, and that is, you can squat all you want, you can have all of the weight and strength that you want, you can have all the muscle that you want, but strength and flexibility, yeah, flexibility too, strength and flexibility without movement mastery is vanity. And so I want to cover that in more detail with you today. But the second move is a W sit. So being able to sit down low like this and have the hip and knee mobility to sit all the way down and stand all the way up like that. I don't know how many times I've had slips and stuff where I've landed in that awkward position like this. And some sports even need that level of hip and knee mobility, which, remember, the more flexibility and mobility that you have, the more strength can fill in that gap, and ultimately the stronger that you are. And so that's why people that might not look the strongest are actually stronger than people that spend hours upon hours in a traditional gym, okay? So we've got the squat, the W sit, being able to have that mobility there, okay? And like I said, you may or may not be able to do all of these. You'll be able to do some, but perhaps not all of them, okay? And I can think of a lot of our students that come in and they'll have, we call them disjointed or disconnected skills. So they'll be able to do one thing but not another thing, okay? And what we want to do is fill in those holes. A goal that a lot of people have is a single leg squat, and I think it's a very good one. So to be able to have the mobility, and all of this before you load up any weight, in my opinion, you want to be able to move in all those directions. Otherwise, whenever you're loading weight on a body, on a structure that has those weak links, okay, or those disjointed skills, or the lack of mobility and flexibility in certain areas, man, that's a recipe for disaster. And you might have been there. I've experienced those times, and you don't want to be in that position. But this is a goal for a lot of students coming in. So a single leg squat, all right? And this is really going to test everything, even your lower back as you come down and then pushing back up like that. Holding this position too is very good, okay? Having that control in your entire body. And so as you're getting into your training and you're trying to step up and level up, I would encourage you to get into good, solid training. Maybe you're sitting at a desk all day, maybe you're working in, maybe you're an entrepreneur, or you're working on, you own a business, or you've got high pressure careers. Like we've had a lot of attorneys as students, and surgeons and doctors and things like that too. But just high pressure things that put a lot of stress, and stress is actually a good thing. I'll make a video about that. Stress is a good thing, but there's oftentimes a lack of the physical activity that's necessary to keep all of this going. And so if that's you, if you want to continue leveling up your training and build total body mastery, as I call it, we have something called Powerbatics that we use, and I'll show you some really cool things about how all that connects together. But if you want to train in that way and level up, you could fill out the application, connect with me and my team. We could do a complimentary coaching call just to make sure that we're in alignment on training goals, etc. Okay, so now let's go to the next things. All right, so this might seem a little different than just building quad strength and hams and glutes and all of that. This is actually focused a little bit on the details, like your feet. You ever done a stretch where you actually stretch your toes like this? All right, we do a lot of high impact training, vaulting, tumbling. We're actually here at a workshop. We do workshops around the world. We've been to Japan, Spain, Portugal, Florida, California, all kinds of places. And we do high impact things, and we'll be doing vaulting and rolling and tumbling. And you have to have the ability through all of your joints and connective tissue and fascia and everything. And that is what creates sustainability long-term for life. The byproducts are those skills, okay? The byproducts are those skills. And you want to be able to train that way, but you've got to build up all of that connective tissue and be able to have the ranges of motion and be able to hold yourself in some of these positions that I'm showing you right now. So I don't know how many moves I'll show you today. I definitely won't be able to cover it all. So you have to go and watch some other videos, or schedule a complimentary coaching call so that you can talk with us, and then we could get to know each other. You can tell us about your goals and roadblocks. But positions like this, abnormal positions that the body might go into, that you want to be able to have strength in all of those areas, okay? So those are a couple of things for the ankles, toes, but another one for the legs, okay? Definitely overlooked. I don't think enough people are doing this stretch. This is how I get into this one. I hold my foot up like this, okay? Kind of like a jiu-jitsu hold or something, all right? And that's what's a little different about training like this. I was thinking about this analogy, is that things like jiu-jitsu, you can go in and you can learn the technique step by step. Someone can walk you through A, B, C, D. And sometimes there might be flexibility issues in the way for some certain moves. But for the most part, you can walk through and you can learn A, B, C, D, or like learning how to play the piano. If you go slowly, you can do it. With this kind of training, however, it's different, because no matter how detailed I go into, there's going to be the element of time. And we want to do both sides. Okay, this way. There's going to be the element of time that you have to have in order for certain things to develop. So connective tissue, about 6 months. Strength, 90-day cycles, okay? So your strength can outpace your mobility or flexibility, and then you get into this situation where you can have a chronic or catastrophic injury because of major imbalances. And so it's not age, okay? Age is a mentality, all right? It is not just a number. Age is how you act and behave, and all of those things that come into play. But it has little to do with the physical nature of things. Physical nature of things is how you take care of your body. All right. So those are a couple of leg things. And what we want to do is be able to connect these together into strength and skill. And we'll do a little something towards the end here. I'm showing you a number of things, a number of pieces, some of which you may be able to do, some of which you may need to work on and start scaling up for. All right, next one. Coming down to the side, all the way down low. I'll get heel down, foot flat, this foot flat, knee flared out, straight leg, and then being able to switch sides like this very quickly and easily and efficiently. Okay, so now that we've covered all that, let's put this together into a little something that we call a kata for Powerbatics training. And we always start at a tension position like this, and then I'm just gonna fly through it, okay, really quick, you'll see. Okay, and so that's just about half of the kata, and I'll go through slowly so that you can see how some of these positions work together. So we're stepping back to a high bow stance, then I throw a butterfly kick, or it can scale up to an aerial like that, or it can go a bit more sideways like that, or it could just be a leap like that. I've used butterfly kicks and butterfly twists even playing flag football. It could be seen in martial arts, vaulting, all sorts of applications, but just a natural way of the way we're able to move. So after I do that, coming around, stepping up to a horse stance, then I'm seamlessly coming through here, okay? Sweeping, all right? A lot of ankle, hip, knee mobility, turning over, okay? Then what we would normally do is we would kick back here and go into some other moves, but I cut it a little bit short just for the sake of this video, and I switched over, and then I do a ground kick up to standing. And that last move I want you to look at a little bit more in depth, okay? Again, practical movement, strength, skill, and sustainability with the idea of total body mastery. At the opposite end would be strength and flexibility being vanity without the movement mastery. And I'm sure you could think of a host of details and examples about how that applies. But just sitting on the ground, I use this all the time, playing with my kids, you know, just getting up really quick for something. And watch, it doesn't have to be the cleanest. I'm just sitting here, da-da-da, boop, and I'm up, and I could do whatever, okay? Maybe you're applying that to martial arts training. Maybe you're out there doing your weekend sports. But little things like that, and your ability to move and flow and have the strength and total body mastery is the ultimate goal, okay? And that's the main point for today. Again, you may have been able to do some of these. You may have not been able to do others, and that's perfectly fine. Schedule a coaching call with us. It'll be complimentary. You will need to qualify, so take a look, and we'll help you just like all the other students that have gone before you, and level by level by level by level. Which, oh, back to my example about jiu-jitsu. I forgot to finish that. Oh, well, I kind of did, but it takes time to build through and allow the connective tissue to develop, allow the strength to develop, and then the skill on a neurological level, okay? And let's be clear, even a squat, a good barbell squat, or an Olympic lift, all right? All of that is a good skill, but then there's so much more. And so what we don't want to get caught in, what I don't want to happen to you, is for you to be sitting there writing the same letter A over and over and over again, but instead learning the full alphabet, connecting these into new skills that we call words, and then connecting those words into sentences like I showed you with the kata. Make sense? All right, that's it for today. I'll see you in the next video and in training soon.